Then we have the forward. Obviously, he's the third option, but the forward for me, I feel like the forward should be a great either driver or both, or all of it. He should be able to dribble, great driver all the way to the basket. Because what does a three does? He drive all the way to the basket. He could drive, stop, pull up. He could drive, step back, pull up. He could be a great shooter, spot up shooter, just spot up shooter all the time. He could bring the ball. He could be a great ball handler. He could run the play just as good as a point guard. So great skill as far as like perimeter. But I also want him to be a great down low players, because the down low game is all about understanding who's playing you, who's guarding you. Sometimes you have a much bigger advantage to beat somebody when you give him your back than actually trying to face him up. And I feel like, for example, LeBron went through that in a lot throughout his career. Sometimes I would watch him trying to beat Stephen Curry off the dribble, and I'd be like, "You got Stephen Curry on you, bro. What you doing? On the block, dog. Boom, boom, you done." Not just him, but like a lot of times, not just him, but a lot of other players. A lot of guys get so caught up into that face-up game that they don't understand the actual how they can take advantage. Again, I know it's LeBron James, and he's an unbelievable player, super legend, Hall of Fame, future Hall of Fame, stuff like that. So I'm not taking anything away from what this man has done as far as the basketball game. None. We're just speaking from a basketball standpoint. He's a basketball player, and I used to be a basketball player myself. We all basketball players, so we could talk about each other game, regardless whether you Jordan, whether you God or whatever. So I just feel like there are times where he could have really in his career take advantage of that. If LeBron had the back to the basket game, he would have been a very scary basketball player, even more scarier. I think he would have more championship that he has right now. So. I want my forward to be able to read the game, all of them. I want him to be able to read the game and understand, the defender who's playing him or his opponent, and maybe he's weak. He's like, yo, tell his point guard on the block, and then we run a set for him on the block. Because you want your players to want to understand what they have, what the defense is giving them. You don't want players that my turn. You don't want to. I will talk about the system later on, because it might sound like it's going to be like my turn. Once I talk about the system of how I would believe that maybe a coach can approach the game, the style of playing, how he can approach it, it will be more clear. But right now it might sound kind of like weird. But again, I want my forward to be able to play, to be a great shooter, a great passer, a great ball handler, dribbling the ball, attacking the basket. Finish strong, obviously athletic, Now, if he can have all those attributes, great. Now, if he doesn't, that's what we practice. We practice so he gets to the best of his ability. Obviously, all those guys all those positions I just named, I want him to play defense, of course. On the other hand, I want him to be I want him to be dogs. I mean, dogs on defense. So, and I will talk about that later on about the other videos and stuff like that, about the defense and how I believe that the defensive scheme should be and stuff like that. So, but I want my forward to be able to to play inside 50% and the outside 50%. Now he's going to be more on the outside. Obviously, he's probably going to be playing maybe 60% or 70% more, or 80%. Yeah, 80% more than the inside. So it's an 80% outside player and a 20% down low player, because there are times when we're going to have to make reads on whoever's guarding him, and maybe he could get on that block and trying to get a quick bucket. So things like that. But as far as the way he could play, I want him to be 50-50. I want him to be just as comfortable to be on the block as he is on the outside. I don't want him to feel like, oh my God, I'm kind of weak in this area. We practice that. We practice that. You make them understand the psychological part about the advantage of the gift of how they built, or how how you guys play and things like that, how they can take advantage so they can score on the opponent team. So things like that.